Hey everyone, it's archetypes, and in Japan, the Pokemon TCG expansion Storm Emeralda, which if you're not familiar, is essentially the same thing as Delta Rain, which again, if you're still not familiar with the set, it is the upcoming set in the Pokemon TCG. Again, obviously just released in Japan. Internationally, it's releasing actually, I believe in November, so it'll be a little while till it comes out internationally, but it's an interesting set, just glancing at it here as a brief overview. It, of course, features more Megas because it's in the Mega era. We have some interesting archetypes, and we have these double stadiums as well. I actually recently did a tier list of the top cards, and I did that video, and so check that out if you haven't, if you want to get more familiar with the set. And I've of course done a few other videos on the set as well, and we'll continue to do those. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss those. But the set is definitely, I mean, it's not the best. I'm not gonna lie. In fact, it might be one of the worst sets of the year, and the year doesn't have a particularly strong set of expansions, but there are still some cool decks from the set, which we're taking a look at today. From Japan, these are, I think, all gym battle winners. Gym battles are relatively small local tournaments in Japan, and these decks aren't necessarily crazy good, but they're not, like, terrible either, and definitely a cool starting place for some of you if you want to build your own decks. And you could try them out if you're looking for builds of these more rogue decks. You can find some cool stuff. They're not all going to be rogue decks, but they are interesting here. We got the first deck, which features the new Kommo-o. Kommo-o has an ability here, letting you, once per turn, look at the top 6 cards of your deck, attach a number of basic energy cards of any type you find there to your Dragon Pokemon in any way you like, then you shuffle the other cards back. This is paired with Mega Dragonite EX. Mega Dragonite EX does 330 for 3, and I think discards the energy as well. If I'm not mistaken, here is the card. Yeah, you discard 2 of the energy, so you can also switch every turn. The stage 1, the Dragonair, searches for evolutions, which is kind of cool as well. We see this paired with the Raging Bolt EX. Kommo-o actually is the same energy types as Raging Bolt EX. We see the single prizer as well, which of course same energy types there, giving you some different options. I will say double Latias EX feels very strange in my opinion. Latias EX is certainly a good card, but theoretically, you should have like Dragonite EX in play at some points, right? So then you can switch with this ability. Yes, having Free Retreat lets you double switch, which is cool, I guess. But I definitely don't think it needs 2 Latias EXs. That's kind of weird, and it's a bit of a liability as you're mostly single prize or 3 prize focused. But definitely a somewhat interesting deck idea here and a solid partner for Kommo-o. And Mega Dragonite EX isn't super good. Is this a good way to play it? I mean, it's probably as good as any of the other builds, Lightning stuff. Actually, no, Lightning stuff's probably a little bit better, but this is certainly fine and a solid use, again, ish for Kommo-o. Kommo-o is not amazing, and obviously, I mean, Kommo-o Dragapult would definitely be better than Kommo-o Dragonite there, but, Mega Dragonite is still a fun card if you want to get to work with a new Kommo-o. A cool enough deck idea there. Then Mega Golisopod EX. This one's getting a bit better. I don't necessarily expect us to see more Kommo-o in this video, but we see Mega Golisopod EX in a few different decks here. Mega Golisopod EX is a cool little card with 2 different attacks. The second one is not very good. It is something that the list that I'm seeing can use using Ignition. It is 160 for 3 colors there. And then you stop your opponent's active from retreating. It could be useful in some situations. You could like trap, any number of support Pokemon. Specifically, Latias EX actually is a good target for that. And then you knock it out next turn, so it's okay, I suppose. And then you have this other attack, Finishing Blow. This one's definitely a lot better. For 1 grass, you do 60. If you have any damage counters on your opponent's active, though, then you're able to do 160 more, doing 220 there. So that's, I mean, it's a solid number there. We compare it with Arboliva EX. It actually works relatively nicely there. Arboliva EX, spreads damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon. Oftentimes, you're with it because I've seen it played for. There was a while where it was like really popular, and it was used to snipe a Pokemon like say a Dreepy or a Dracloak on the bench, and then you have a little bit of extra damage, but not really enough to take a knockout unless they also have like a Bidoof there. And in that situation where they don't have, Pokemon that are super easy to knock out, then you just have a tiny bit of extra damage, but that's perfect for Mega Golisopod EX. You can use that damage to sub the bigger damage from Mega Golisopod. Outside of that, normal-ish grass stuff. We actually see a new card here in the stadium. The supporter. Zinnia's Trust is the translation. You switch your active with one of your bench Pokemon. If you do, you move an energy from your bench Pokemon to the new active. Not gonna lie, I forgot what this card did. Before I read it there, it's not good. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think it's a very good card in this deck. It's kind of weird. Not sure why it's here. If someone knows like specifically, then tell me. I'd love to know. I suppose. Again, it's not particularly strong. But then we see this next list here. This one runs some similar stuff, but it does run. Not going to dive into like all the details, but it does run the new Cacturne. The new Cacturne is interesting as well. I actually think this card's quite good. Not crazy good, but definitely one of the best cards from the set. I mean, I don't think Mega Golisopod is particularly impressive, and like the Kommo-o, that's not that good. The supporter that we looked at, not super impressive either. But Cacturne is interesting. This attack here, not linear attack though. It is, funnily enough, actually has some synergy with the Mega Golisopod, which I guess is intentional there. But the thing here, Punishing Needle, that's going to be a lot better of an attack doing, and we've seen this in the past, for one grass, it does 10, 15 more for each of your opponent's Pokemon in play that has an ability. We've seen this with Scissor, we saw it with Flapple, and we saw it with Weavile, and we've probably seen it at some other points, which I'm forgetting as well, or less familiar with. But Cacturne, with this attack, it can do pretty big damage. Obviously, it depends on what you're up against, but capable of doing, if they have 4 abilities in play, you're doing 210, and that's very possible that they have those abilities in play. So definitely an interesting Pokemon here. It's just a one of here, a 1/1 line, but I do think it is a nice little addition to the different grass decks floating around. We actually see this other list here. This one's playing a different Golisopod as well. Golisopod, which is a water card. And I did that wrong. There we go. From Chaos Rising, it does. Oh yes, if you take a okay. So it does 150 for 3 colors. I was gonna say you can use this first attack. This attack does it gives you like some immunity. It's a really weird attack, but you can't use it in this list. But Boundless Power, I mean, it's just a single prizer essentially with Ignition there as well. An interesting option, definitely with the Megas, having single prize and even 2 prize options is really interesting. You see it with like Mega Greninja EX and Greninja EX, though Mega Greninja is not that good, but definitely a pretty interesting option there, although I don't think super strong. Then we see Mega Malamar EX. Mega Malamar is a relatively, in my opinion, somewhat boring Pokemon, but for 2 Darkness, you do 70 for each opponent's bench Pokemon. This is not terrible. I mean, it can be pretty strong at some points. It does run 2 copies of Accompanying Flute, getting bench Pokemon from your opponent's deck onto their bench, but just from the top 5 there, so a little random, but not too bad. And we see it paired with Toxtricity. We've seen some lists like this before in the past, with just Darkness Box with Mega Malamar, which is okay. I think a 2/2 line feels all right. I feel like putting a 1/1 line in a deck doesn't feel amazing. Like the Cacturne, a 1/1. I mean, you're obviously not valuing it very much because it's going to be a little hard to find, but on top of that, it's also going to be something that is just it can be prized pretty easily, prizing evolution lines, right, that are very thin. So a 2/2 line with Mega Malamar feels okay here. And then you have other Darkness stuff. That being said, you don't really have that many other attacking options. You do have Monkey Dory, obviously, which is nice in Darkness. Overall, the deck is fine, I think. Not super good, right? Not that good, but it's not a bad card. Then we have Mega Kangaskhan. This is a weird list. It's got Acerola's what's it called? Acerola's Mischief, which like protects your Pokemon. You have the new Talonflame EX. This one, what's really nice here is you actually can do some cool prize mapping stuff for I guess it like hurts your opponent with the prize mapping there. Force them to quote go for that 8 prize game, knocking out 2 Megas in a Talonflame there. Talonflame EX can be just essentially put into play if you have Mega Kangaskhan in play. It's if you have a colorless Mega. The best of them by far, obviously, is Mega Kangaskhan there, though there are some other decent ones as well. But then you have, Crispin here. It can power up the Talonflame EX. It's 150, so it's just rank 2 cards. We also see the new Stadium. Legendary Lava Lake is the translation. A really sick card. It's 2 halves, and you need to play both halves at once to play it. But then Evolution Pokemon in play. There we go. Have no abilities. This, as far as I'm aware, does not turn off Talonflame EX. I'm sure there's been an official ruling. I just didn't see it. But this card, or these cards, I suppose, are really nice against. I mean, look at Toxtricity. You look at the Dunsparce. You look at you look at Drakeloak, you look at just a lot of different decks in the game are running abilities that are pretty good. Let me scroll down to find some slightly better ones, like Drakeloak, Festival Lead, Enzoric EX, Alakazam, You even see actually none or knocked out here. Yeah, that one would I believe be stopped there. So just a bunch of different abilities that you're stopping with the stadium. It's a legitimately good card. And Iron Thorns EX is, or sorry, it's being paired with Iron Thorns some, but also with like when you Kangaskhan, these low to the ground for basic decks that are relatively straightforward. Also funny to see the one of energies, one of each type of energy, basic energy in standard format there because of Crispin. That's the best thing to do, and it's really funny as well. But regardless, this is definitely a solid stadium, one of the best cards from this set. I don't know exactly how good it's going to be. Obviously, I haven't played with the legendary stadiums. We've seen like the legendary Pokemon or the Pokemon Legends. I actually didn't really play with them at all. But as far as I'm aware, they were okay, but they're searchable. The stadiums aren't super searchable. They aren't unsearchable. There is a new card to search them, but I don't think it's looking very impressive there. So ultimately, I just I'm not very I'm skeptical. I would say I'm not impressed. That's not necessarily true, but I'm just not sure how good these cards are actually going to be. But the stadium ability locking evolutions can be really nasty there. Speaking of nasty, the deck would also probably be nasty to play against. And I'll skip to this Iron Thorns list as well. Similar idea, nothing too new here, other than the stadium, which is new, as well as actually the new supporter Aaron, which lets you search for through any combination of stadiums and supporters, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. This card is good. Again, it doesn't say reveal in this translation. I think I've ran into that before. That I'm assuming is a typo, but regardless, it's definitely an interesting search card. I don't think it's good. I think it's probably worse than Colossus Tenacity, which isn't super impressive. That being said, obviously, this deck here, or with Iron Thorns, it is a slower deck. These slower to the slower, big basic decks, which are like fours, just like the Mega Kangaskhan list. Running supports that search for spores aren't necessarily too terrible when you're looking for these longer games, and getting a bunch of supporters is okay. It allows you to then be set for the next few turns. So, well, it's not the best thing in most stacks. It can be nice in some of these slower decks. Then we also see this Mega Electric list, which runs nothing new. I don't actually know why this is here. I'm not going to lie. Wait, it doesn't run anything new, does it? No, it does not. So then we see Mega Rayquaza actually paired with Ionos. Okay, that's interesting. So Mega Rayquaza does 50 damage for each of your, I believe, basic energy in play. Or no, maybe it's basic fire and basic lightning energy in play. Let me double check on that one. Yes, only basic fire and basic lightning. When you play it, you can potentially get an energy from the top of your deck and attach it to it. It's okay. And there's another Iron Thorns list we're going to take a look at that's interesting. Using the new Adventuring Lantern, getting a Fire and Lightning Energy basics there from your deck into your hand. Also, there was another card from the new expansion, Delta Rain. Oops, I bumped my mic there. But it's from the new expansion, Delta Rain, or presumably going to be there. It's from the EX Starter decks. I believe it's actually in all of the EX Starter decks. And it's this Delibird. This card has an ability that says it lets you, if it's in the active, look at the top 6 cards of your deck, you reveal an energy card you find there, which can be a special energy, and then you put it into your hand. And the other cards end up on the bottom. This can get you special energies, I guess also basic energies, which I guess it's fine in this list. You like slap an air balloon into your pivot, and it gets you some extra stuff there. Overall, I don't think Mega Rayquaza is good. I think it's just not good. And this doesn't really get the Mega Rayquaza powered up super easily. You can if you hit an energy off of the Mega Rayquaza and then energy switch to it, but then you also need the Iono's Voltorb. Iono's Golurk was actually a really cool Pokemon. I haven't played with too much. Funnily enough, I've actually played with it some in live GLC, a pretty reasonable amount, and I think it's pretty fun there, or even like regular GLC. It's a cool card, but it's not, I mean, it's kind of clunky, kind of slow, so it's not amazing, but it is fun. But I mean, ultimately, that's like the quote star of the deck here, in my opinion, and it's not that good. Mega Rayquaza and Iono's or Iono's Belly Bolt are both probably worse cards. Iono's Belly Bolt EX is okay, I guess, but the Mega Rayquaza I just think is really bad. I believe, let me quickly take a look on Pokebook. In the metagame breakdown, let me look here. I think, yeah, Mega Rayquaza is, where's the tier list? Oh, it's being played more than Dragapult. That's crazy. It's definitely not better than Dragapult. I would say it's definitely bad, right? Like, I think it's pretty clearly bad. Obviously, there are points at which and this isn't me like just, being the only one saying it's bad. I've heard most people say it's bad as well. But it's like, cool. Also, again, the set is not super powerful. I would say I was expecting Bug Out to see a bit more play. I mentioned in a previous video there's a Bug Out list which I saw by the Pokemon channel, which was like really bad. Someone was like, "Oh no, it's meant to do this," and I tried it, and I kind of see the vision. It's still not a good list, but it's fun, I suppose. Bug Out definitely has some potential. Also, there's some thunder outside, so hopefully I don't get hit by lightning types IRL. That would be kind of bad. But regardless, yeah, Mega Rayquaza is seeing like a ton of play, and it's also not that good though. I don't think we see this build here. This is a Oh, sorry, this is not Mega Rayquaza. What? What is Pokemon doing? Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Because, well, this is clearly not Mega Rayquaza because it doesn't play any Mega Rayquazas, right? But it is playing, it's like basic box with this Pincurchin. I was actually talking with Uncommon Fossil. He said this Pincurchin was like, okay, I said this card's not good at all, and apparently someone's playing it. So for 2 colors, you do 20 for each energy attached to all your opponent's Pokemon. This is energy, not energy cards, so with like Meganium, it could do a bunch. And also against Talonflame EX, it does actually hit it for weakness. I'm trying to think of other things it hits for weakness, and there's not too much there. But ultimately, I guess it could be worse, and it's interesting to see someone playing it here. And then, of course, the Talonflame EX, which, again, with Mega Kangaskhan EX, so this, like, toolboxy deck, I think is legitimately... I mean, I think that the Talonflame EX is a very good card. We also, again, still see 4 copies, again, 2 copies of each of the halves of the new stadium, which is, and also, I think, a good card. I'm not sure how good. I think it's clunky, but it can be very strong. We see Mega Rayquaza. This is with Ethan's Toho EX. This is how I expect the deck to be more or less built. We also see the Terapagos EX allowing you to play Air Zero Underdepths, which is fine. Actually good, because you probably want to be playing a good chunk of Mega Rayquazas. And then also we see it playing the Zoix to accelerate to that, and then the Glass Trumpet as well. So I will say it only runs 2 Mega Rayquazas. Mega Rayquaza actually can be good. The ability for setting up the attack on a different one, because it allows you to just get more energy onto your board, which is okay. Though I suppose the other Pokemon can do it better. We still see 4 Mega Kangaskhan, so Mega Kangaskhan still, like, obviously just a good card, and realistically better than Mega Rayquaza. It draws you cards. It does damage easier, and it's just a better card, right? In general, technically Mega Rayquaza could be a big finisher. The deck is like really tuned towards Mega Rayquaza here. I think honestly, you're probably better off just playing a Mega Kangaskhan box deck. Mega Rayquaza is a cool-ish card. So the list is running some Lightning Energy Acceleration and Fire Energy Acceleration. We see another list, similar stuff. Not going to go too much in detail into this deck. This is running, sorry, Victini? What's Victini do again? This card does... Yeah, what? This increases the damage of your Fire Evolution Pokemon? Right, this is the right card? Done to your opponent's active. Okay, I have no... Like, sometimes I just don't know what's going on with the card in the deck. I have no idea why this Victini is in this list here. If someone knows, tell me that in the comments section. I have no idea why it's in this list. It increases damage but used by your Fire Evolutions. It's played in, like, Ethan some. I've seen it in... There's some other deck I saw it in. I mean, you can play in Ceruledge. What on earth? Sawsbuck? I didn't realize this card was in... Wait, okay, I didn't realize this card was in Standard. The Sawsbuck's actually kind of nice for the new stadiums. Searching for a stadium every turn. I mean, it's not that good, because it only gets 1, you need 2. Regardless, I don't know what's going on here with some of the stuff here, but yeah, then I'm going to skip the decks that aren't new. I don't think any of these are new at all. We go to this next page here. See Mega Golisopod, nothing crazy. We do see Dragon Ball EX plus Sprigatito, or Meowscarada EX. This Meowscarada is new from the Meowscarada EX deck, or Sprigatito and Meowscarada EX deck. This for 2 grass does 120 and 120 on your opponent's bench Pokemon with damage counters on it. Not honestly a too bad attack. You do more snipe damage than Dragon Ball. It's kind of like Greninja EX. It's actually cheaper, but in some ways it's about as easy to power up because it is 2 energy attachments, just like the Greninja EX, but not a terrible card, not a very good card either. Oh, I guess I said 2 attachments. No, just 1 attachment with the Neo Upper, so that's cool there. Overall, not that good, but not like completely irrelevant either. I'm not going to go that far. See a Mega Darkrai list. Looks like these aren't new. We got Dolphin Maniac. Let's go. And Mega Chandelure Control with Darian EX and a bunch of different stuff here, including the Clefairy, which I have not actually played with yet, but seems like an interesting card. Mega Chandelure is kind of bad, but it is really fun. Uncommon Fossils, I'm playing that a lot. Okay, we got just a bunch of weird stuff here, but not going to dive into it too much. Though I am always a big fan of of Cinderace, but with Cinderace, you probably want to play less basics. That's generally my recommendation there. This is running 14 basics there. I would not play Meowth EX with Cinderace. I just don't think those really belong in the same deck there. And I played a lot of Cinderace. Cinderace is not that good of a card, but it's a very fun card. And also 3 Wellspring Mass seems high, even if it is to enable the Terra stuff. I feel like normally you're running 2 Terras if you want to enable Terra stuff. Like in this list, it runs 2 Terras to enable Terra stuff. But then the next list, or the next set of lists here, we see Mega Golurk EX. Mega Golurk EX is another new card from Storm. This card does for 2 Psychic, 300, and then 30 to itself. That's good. I will say it's not like the most broken thing I've ever seen, if that's all it said, but also has an ability that says you can't attack unless you have 10 or more cards in hand. We see it paired with, okay, this is really interesting. Not at all what I was expecting. It's paired with this weird Baynet package, including the not new Baynet, which shuffles 3 cards from your opponent's hand into their deck. I think they choose, if I'm not mistaken. Baynet from, I think Journey Together is the right one. Yeah, and it was also an Ascended Heroes. Yeah, they choose 3 cards from their hand, shuffle them into their deck. You can pair this with Xerosic Machinations to get rid of their whole hand, which is kind of cool. It's a bit gimmicky, and both the cards on their own are pretty bad. Funnily enough, Xerosic Machinations would be kind of bad for this deck. I will say, how on earth are you getting 10 cards into your hand? Like, am I missing something? This seems not really. I mean, obviously it doesn't seem good. You have the Baynet, which also like you attack and search for stuff. You also have hide and sneak. I don't know. This deck list seems very weird. Kind of very. I was saying mediocre, but like mediocre in a bad way. I'm not really sure I don't see the vision of this deck. I'm not gonna lie. It runs the stadium to ability lock. You can actually ability lock your own Baynet. In play, not in the discard. Oh, funnily enough, and expanded, I believe if you Silent Lab, yeah, then you'd be able to kind of slow down hide and sneak because you could Silent Lab the Pokemon in the discard with hide and sneak, which is kind of funny. But yeah, Mega Golurk here. Oh, I lined these lists up perfectly. Let's go. So satisfying. Though the list probably doesn't seem that good. But yeah, then we got Golisopod EX. So we need End Sigilyph EX. This card's like not good. If you don't know what it does, it doesn't really matter. It's not very good. But yeah, we got that. Then we got Iron Thorns. It's running the new Mega Rayquaza cap. Honestly, such a sick card. A goofy card. Has very not existent synergy with Mega Rayquaza, which it seems like it should. But anyways, Delta Gift for 1 colorless for each of your Pokemon that has Mega Rayquaza cap attached. And by the way, this is an attack you can use with the Pokemon with the tool attached. Then you search your deck for basic energy attached to that Pokemon. You can accelerate to your Mega or to your Iron Thorns. I think it's super good in Iron Thorns. I think it's good in Crustle. I think it's good in decks like that where you're just slowing down the game. Walling could be used in Mega Kangaskhan. But I think decks like Iron Thorns and Crustle, it's very good. Not broken by any means, but it's pretty solid there. We got more Mega Malamar paired with Baynet in like this weird like Baynet Delmise package. Seems very bizarre. Yeah, not exactly sure the idea here. Also, it runs like Gwen. Gwen's a cool supporter, but you're only running 12 single prize Pokemon. That feels a little low for Gwen. I feel like with Gwen, you're looking for a number closer to like 20, maybe even higher there. With like hide and sneak, like a full hide and sneak package. So definitely a bit strange in my opinion, but yeah, it's a build. We got Masquerada with some darkness stuff. Okay, that's weird. We got more Mega Rayquaza as well. I'll scroll through this. I don't think there's anything really catching my eye. I will say Raging Bolt, you can toss in the Mega. Well, you can toss in Mega Kangaskhan, then you can toss in the Talonflame EX as well. So definitely some cool stuff you can do with Talonflame EX. It's not a crazy powerful card. It's not a really game-changing card necessarily, but it's a card that has solid value there. Okay, these next set of decks, the final set of decks here, we see another Mega Golurk list. This one feels okay, running the Dunsparce engine with Enriching Energy. I will say one thing that I see people commonly get wrong about the Dunsparce Enriching Energy like package. It's really cool. It's really fun. It's really fun being able to reuse Enriching Energy, drawing a bunch of cards, but you really need extra energy attachments. It works honestly only okay in Alakazam because in Alakazam, you don't necessarily have extra energy attachments. Well, you probably have 1 extra energy attachment throughout the course of the game, but you can't, if you only have 1 extra energy, replay Enriching, because that takes an extra energy, and you can only do that once. With Wondrous Patch, you can do more. Theoretically, if your opponent's just kind of doing nothing, you can also do more, but if they're not doing anything, then it doesn't even matter, because, they're not doing anything. But Then we also see, I mean, Aaron's actually okay. A supporter that gets you 2 more cards or 3 more cards, increasing your hand size by 2 is okay there. Um, but I don't know. I feel like the Dunsparce engine, it reminds like Crispin as well. I feel like you're gonna have massive energy issues. Crispin doesn't really fix energy issues. I mean, it kind of does with Monkey Dory, and yes, the Pokemon is tanky as well. So Monkey Dory works okay, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like you're looking for more psychic energies. I was a telepathic psychic with Monkey Dory. I haven't seen that too much. It's pretty interesting there, I suppose, but. I mean, you need to really use Wondrous Patch to be able to use Enriching Energy in Alakazam, or and use the Dunsparce well. The Dunsparce I don't think is just it's not a particularly strong engine in terms of how much it increases your hand size. It increases it by 1 every time you use it, because you spend 2 cards, you get 3 cards, and then it's every time. So you're probably also spending resources to get the Dunsparce down, which means you're not spending those resources on other cards. Is it the end of the world? Not necessarily, but it's not amazing there. And then comparing it to Dracloak, Dracloak costs 2, gets you 1, but over the course of 3 turns, it's the same. Also gives you more card selection there, and requires less commitment, and I would say keeps you safer if you get hit by hand disruption. Theoretically, Dunsparce keeps you safer if you get hit by hand disruption because you can save the Dunsparce, but in order to save the Dunsparce, you're not using the Dunsparce. That's a bit of a, you know, like side, I almost said side train. That's not the right term. Sidetracking, but it's definitely something that is, I think, a common misconception about how the Dunsparce works. It's not like it draws you 3 cards and Zoroark, for example, draws you 2 cards. No, I mean, the way it draws you cards is very different and is, I would say it's better to view it as drawing you 1 card, which isn't terrible. They're definitely worse cards, but it's not like this crazy powerful draw engine that draws you lots of cards, because it's also this draw engine that's like, it's eating up like half the cards you're drawing anyway, so it's just okay draw engine. Compared to the other draw engine, it's not bad. It's solid, but it's definitely, I think, overrated at times. Anyways, then we have the Tornadus deck or whatever, the Thundurus, Tornadus, Enamorus, Thundurus, Landorus. These you need them all in play, and then their attacks are cheaper. It's kind of fun, kind of gimmicky. We see it with Wondrous Patch, and then Psychic with the Enamorus being a solid attacker, doing, I believe it does 200? Let me double check on that. Yeah, just 200 to an EX for 2 Psychic if you have all 4 in play. I think in some ways Rescue Stretcher makes a lot of sense for the deck. This is a 6 petrol deck, not an 8 petrol deck. Well, obviously it's a 4 petrol deck because you can only play 4. But it's running first of all the Team Rocket's Watchtower, which is an okay stadium there. It's a stadium bump as well. But on top of that, it's also running the Team Rocket's Transceiver, which is ultimately not very good as the game goes on. It doesn't really do too much, so I'd definitely be a little worried there. Also, only 2 Night Stretchers seems like it could be an issue at times. But yeah, we see that it is running the Pressure Trolley, which in some sense makes a lot of sense, right? It allows you to get your board set up in just 1 card. That being said, I think as the game goes on, or if I'm pretty much just as the game goes on, I think you're going to have issues. I played Precious Trolley. I played against Precious Trolley as well. It's really a turn 1, obviously, and then after that, obviously, you played it, so you can't play it again, and then your whole deck's meant to do this one thing. It's done that thing, and then now what, right? So then you're reliant on your board. You look at playing extra a deck like that, using Precious Trolley, and its board does everything. The board of this deck does nothing. So, yeah, honestly, you should probably play at least Pheasant if EX. Play like some other Pokemon that draws you some cards. Technically, Tornadus does with this attack, but it's not even that good. So overall, the decks, I mean, it does run 4 Lilies, right? I've seen decks that like don't run Lilies because they run Petrol, but the deck is interesting, though a little sketchy and bad as well. Then we see this Iron Thorns list as well. This one's actually interesting, running Hand Tremor, which I like that card. Well, I don't love it, but I think it's close to Xerosix in a good chunk of situations. And then we also see the other card, or similar to Xerosix, power level wise. And then we see card Blowtorch. Blowtorch is actually super sick, and I didn't even think about this. This card paired with, obviously, you see Iron Thorns here, wanting to disrupt. Blowtorch you discard a fire from your hand, fire energy, and then you discard a tool, special energy, or stadium. By the way, you can just discard the double stadiums. That is a thing you can do, and that's like an issue with the stadiums get bumped super easily, just as easily as any other stadium, but it costs a lot more to get it into play. But Blowtorch, you're pairing it with the new so this list does not pair with the new item. I was like, oh, it's so sick with the new item. I thought it was. I've seen some Iron Thorns lists running the new item to search for energies, fire and lightning. I think that actually is a really good idea there. It's another type for Crispin as well. And I think that's actually this lightning fire build of Iron Thorns is really cool. Blowtorch is cool with a new item again, searching for those two types of energies as well. So Mega Golisopod and Mega Starmie seems fine, I suppose. Nothing crazy there. Mega Golisopod with Mega Frostlass seems, and regular Frostlass again seems okay. Obviously, the issue with Frostlass setting up damage cards on your opponent's board is it only does it like after the turn you play. It doesn't do it the turn you play it. So you're not necessarily going to get the damage counters in the right spot fast enough, and you might not even really like Frostless is pretty situational as well. Not a terrible card, but not a great card. Overall, it's definitely fun though. Let me see this my Kangaskhan list. Nothing too crazy here. I mean, some decks we haven't really seen in a little while, or much at all. And then we see a bunch of Mega Rayquaza. Again, I think the deck's still pretty bad. I mean, you look at it, it doesn't look very impressive. It looks kind of like a bad basic box deck there. Mega Rayquaza just eating up space for like Ethan's Ho-Oh EX, which doesn't do very much. Also, you see it like kind of encouraging you to increase energy counts, which isn't really a good thing. Overall, it's just doing a lot of different things to the deck that aren't super good. And the upside is technically big one shots that are harder to do in other situations. But with like basic box, what are you looking to one shot? What, like Dragapult, Mega Lucario? Maybe that's another thing which you could just one shot both those with lilies. You could hit weakness on different things. So I just think this deck is unfortunately pretty bad, less versatile, / less consistent, and with much more, a very similar upside and then more downsides there. And I think that's about it. We got some more Mega Chandler, awesome deck, silly deck, bad deck, but overall some really fun stuff. But tell me your thoughts on these different decks in the comment section. But I hope y'all enjoyed. Tell me which of these you want to see me play first as well. I suppose it will be a little while till I play them, but I hope y'all enjoyed. Unfortunately, we didn't see the deck bug out. That'd be really cool. But make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell. Huge shout out to my YouTube members as well for supporting the channel. It really means a ton. But I hope y'all enjoyed, and as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.